on media day. You need some more. Like it's been a
Who
while.
has more views than I do? Anybody? No, I didn't think so. Hold on one second. I gotta take a drink. I'm gonna die. Am I on camera?
You're streaming live to the world.
How's my hair look?
Fantastic.
Better than
Should I put my
mine.
hat back on? Not supposed to wear your hat inside though. All right.
Through 2 games, what have your guys done right, and what do you want to keep working on?
Well, I'll tell you, they're such a great bunch of guys. First of all, they have such character. Saturday really stood out to me. There was no panic in them, and they just kept going to work, and I was really proud of that. So I think the biggest thing about these guys, they have unbelievable experience. They have great character, and now it's just getting down to the preciseness of things. In the offensive line, 1 inch makes a big difference. If you take a step, just 1 inch out too wide, that might need to leave enough room for a defensive tackle to get through and get to the quarterback. So to me, with these guys now, we're able to hone in on just the real preciseness of it, and it reminds me of being in the NFL. Sometimes you can get away with things against certain opponents or certain players. You're not going to be able to get away with it against other opponents and other players. So that's the biggest thing right now. We're just trying to get it exactly precise, and I think we're going to be able to do that.
What is it about Alabama that makes them so dominant on defense? Is it just talent, or is it scheme and all that stuff as well?
I think it's a combination of things. First of all, talent. I mean, there's no question they have unbelievable talent. And then coaching. And coaching is not always all about schemes and fancy things. And these guys are just so well coached. They don't do a lot. I mean, they do enough, but they don't do a whole lot. But, man, when you look at them, they know exactly where they're going. They play with their eyes. You can see everybody. I mean, so that's what makes it really difficult because – they know exactly what they're doing, and you couple that with talent, and then they do enough on third down to make things interesting. So, let's face it, Coach Saban and that whole staff are some of the best coaches in the country, and it shows the way they play.
Y'all got some things done between the 20s last year. What makes them so effective in the red zone?
You know what? The red zone gets tough down there. I mean, because everything gets quicker. Everything's tightened down. The space is gone. So that's where, it really gets real for an offense. I mean, the holes are tighter and, there's less room to run and things. So that to me is the red zone wherever I've been has been tough, unless you're just flat out dominating and you can line up and knock people off the ball. But other than that, it becomes really difficult. So I think it's more the space on the field, just makes everything, the throws have to be more precise, because a safety, for instance, let's say you're on the 6-yard line. Well, if you're on the 35-yard line, that guy might be 15 yards deep. If you're on the 6-yard line, he might be 7 yards deep, and he shows up a lot quicker, so it's those kinds of things that makes it difficult.
What specific challenges does Alabama pose when you guys are trying to protect your quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, I think it mostly goes back to talent, and just being great technicians and well coached, just like I was saying. So, it's, let's face it, I mean, somebody that runs a 4.6 around the edge is a lot harder to block than somebody who runs a 4.8, 4.9, you know what I mean? And someone that has the power and the strength that those guys do. So, they're just big, they're long. The one thing that I always feel like about Alabama, they've got great length. They lock out, and you're trying to lock out, but they've got more length than you do in some instances. So, to me, those are the things that are toughest.
How has Ben Brown graded out for you guys in 2 games?
He's done great. The first game, he was a little bit out there. I'm just going to tell you. I was looking at his eyes. I wasn't sure anybody was home the first game. He was just extra pumped up, and we were all, nobody noticed it, but we were all standing around. We were going to kick a field goal, and he comes bursting, we're going to get this in the end zone. Like, Ben, we're kicking a field goal. He's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So it's that type of thing all day, you know what I mean? But, I was looking at him, he's just like, but then he was much more calm the second day, the second game. And the one thing about playing offensive line is experience is great. It really is hard to go in and to handle all the things that I'd handle. But he's done a fantastic job. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's physical, great kid, and he is he plays with an edge now. He really does, and he's not about to back down from anybody.
Obviously, running the ball requires you to impose physically what you're trying to do, but
Right.
is there more to it than that? Why have you guys been so successful at making those holes for Scotty and some of those guys?
I really think it's the offense. If they fit a safety in, we might throw a post right over his head. And again, I'm used to the last 8 years before this, I was in the NFL, and you're constantly trying to figure out what to do with that safety, and we don't have to worry about that. So we really theoretically are going to run the ball against even numbers, and that's really what it comes down to. Other places I've been, you might have a great 6 guys blocked up, and that safety comes and makes a play. That really rarely happens here. It might happen a couple times, but for the most part, they have to be real wary of that, because number 1, number 14, number 5. So I really feel like it's the offense. It's the best offense I've ever been around to run the ball in. Number 1, we open things up, we spread things out, and we have space. We're not getting in 2 and 3 tight ends, and then they're bringing in bigger guys, and then it's just a big scrum in the middle of the field. So we're going to spread things out, and we've got some weapons outside on the outside, and we can throw the ball. So if you really want to stick that safety in there, you better be hoping the corner is having a good day. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the big thing.
You and Phil seem like you've got a good relationship, kind of work well together. Why does it kind of work so well with you and him?
You know what? I really respect him. He is just a great person, great family guy. So I think it starts there. And I really respect what he does and how he goes about things and how he treats people. Is very meaningful to me at this point in my life. That he really does care about people around him, and just a great person. And like I said, I've never been in a simpler place to coach offensive line than here. And that's a real compliment to him, because we're only going to do things. He's not going to just throw something in and we work on it for a week and then it may not work. You know what I mean? And that's happened a lot. And for the O-line, that can be a real problem. But with him, we've got 6 run plays and maybe 12 schemes that we have to prepare for. And then when you start adding that to all the different defenses and all the different pressure, believe me, there's plenty for us to do. You know what I mean? But so I think it's a combination. We're just good friends. He's a great person, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
I didn't notice Ben Brown out there. Did I miss him or?
Yeah, Ben is he's in concussion protocol right now, but we think he's going to be fine. He everybody's so cautious these days, so we just want to be real cautious with him. But hopefully he's going to be fine for the weekend. He said he was feeling fine today, so.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome. Thank you very much.